New day, new interview. Welcome, Purity. I'm happy that you are here with me.
Yes, I am really very, it's such a great pleasure to be here with you, Isabel. Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks. You did the startup program at Deutsche Telekom. You are a TED speaker and you are known at LEX because of your session Game of Life. I think you are a very interesting person. But before I will ask you some questions, let's start with a short question and answer game. So, are you ready?
Yes?
Okay. What do you say? Tea or coffee?
Gute Frage. Okay, coffee.
Swimming pool or ocean?
Ocean.
Summer or winter?
Winter.
Puzzles or TV?
TV.
Pizza or pasta?
Pizza.
Ah, me too. City or country?
Country. Oh my God, country.
Ah, okay. I'm the city person.
I'm a country girl. I'm not a city girl.
Thank you, Purity. Let's talk about your passion. You are, your LEX session is named Game of Life. Great title. So please tell us more about it.
Yes. First of all, I'd like to say that LEX is such a fantastic platform for sharing ideas, many of which are professional related. And even recently, there has been impulses from private matters or personal topics introduced. It is simply phenomenal what Shaquille, Lex Papa, and his team has done with Lex. This is simply fantastic. But for me, I just felt like there was something missing, something that I myself would love to hear, something that is very common to every human person, regardless of your identity or your professional background. And I decided to offer it myself and called it the Game of Life. And you might ask, why the Game of Life? Or why the name of all the names? Well, you see, first of all, life is a game. And for us to find the peace and the happiness that we are all longing for, we need to learn how to play this game called life. So the Game of Life, I would say, is an umbrella name for a series of topics that focus on all things life. That is where we deal with topics like how do you make sense of life when everything seems to be falling apart? How do you deal with loss of any kind, loss of job, loss of a loved one? How do you deal with death? How do you deal with suicidal thoughts, with depression, with adversity? It is also where we explore topics like how do you find lasting peace in a world that looks like it's gone crazy, and so many topics. It would be very important for me to make clear here that in the first episode, we actually talked about the topic finding security in insecurity. And in a few weeks, I'm going to be hosting, of course, the second episode. So basically, to summarize it, in this Game of Life, what I try to do is to draw lessons from my personal experiences and share it with the people for them to see maybe where something resonates, and then hopefully they become inspired or energized. What I try to, my intention is to sort of offer hope to my colleagues, to remind them that someone, somewhere, at some point, went through some hellish, traumatic life challenges and overcame. As a matter of fact, as we are speaking right now, someone somewhere in some country is going through unbelievable traumatic, tumultuous event, and they are overcoming. And there, my colleagues, they can overcome. they must overcome because they just have to. They have everything within them to overcome. That is simply Game of Life in a nutshell.
Oh, wow, very interesting. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm the typical human who Googled everything, and I'm Googled also your name, and I saw your TED video. The title was Courage to be Imperfect. So, what does it mean?
Thank you for that question. In the courage to be imperfect, basically what I tried to do there was to share some part of my personal experiences. I mean, it's all about experience, right? Isn't it? So share something from my personal experience to highlight the fact that oftentimes, even most times, we are bombarded by society, by the media, by almost everyone else to believe a certain narrative of a perfect life, which we all know does not exist. So, I mean, many of us have been dealt some hard knocks by life. A lot of things happen to many people that were beyond their control. I mean, just take a look at the current climate, the current situation, what is going on all around the world. So many people are really going through a lot, whether it be small or big. And a lot of people are beginning to question, is this the perfect life that we were promised? This does not look like what life is supposed to be, you know? So there are lots of questions. And so I would say that from the courage to be imperfect, the story generally is to sort of remind the people through my own story that the perfect life that we have been conditioned to believe is an illusion. It does not exist. It is an impossible task. As a matter of fact, the only true definition of perfection is reality. This whole life, the way it is, however life shows up, the struggles, the joy, the pain, the pleasure, all of it, this is reality, and this is perfection. As a matter of fact, I realized that it is in the acceptance of life as it is, however the hell it shows up in your experience, and the decision to redefine, whatever ugly situation that you were experiencing to a more positive one actually enables you to see the perfection that you have been looking for. Waiting for another kind of perfect life is waiting in vain. It's not going to happen. No.
Yeah, you're right. This is a problem with social media like Instagram or whatever.
Yeah.
So, what is the most important lesson you have learned in your life?
Boy. Okay, that's a tough one. Because there are so many lessons. Where do you want me to start from? First of all, we grow older, we make mistakes, we get wiser, and by so doing, we accumulate all these lessons. But for the purpose of this conversation, I am going to focus on one particular lesson because I feel it hits closer to my heart. And this lesson is that we are not so much in control as much as we think that we are. I mean, just take a look around you. Look at the vastness. When you begin to consider the vastness of the cosmos, when you begin to consider the immensity of existence, it's a lesson in humility. The realization that we are dependent on nature, we are dependent on life, we are dependent on our environment, we are dependent on everything and everyone else. It is a great lesson in humility. For me, to be honest, when we begin to really see how helpless we are without other people and everything, it forces us to stay humble. So the lesson then is thinking like this, makes us to approach life with a deep sense of appreciation and service to others instead of entitlement. We are not entitled to anything. This is the lesson.
Wow. Thank you. I can ask you a lot of more questions. So let's go in the direction of advertising. You are supposed to design an advertising poster for LEX, Learning from Experts. What does it say?
It's always going to be what I've always said. LEX is the new TED.
Very cool.
That's it. As simple as short.
Yeah,
as simple as it is.
perfect.
LEX is the new TED. That's it. I mean, almost everyone knows what TED is. TED Talks. So LEX is the platform that makes the invisible visible. LEX is the corporate TED stage. So LEX is the new TED, and I think it should actually spread into other companies, with Shakil being the LEX Papa.
Thank you so much for this very interesting interview. Yeah, we can still learn a lot from you. We are very happy that you share your experience with us. So also in your LEX sessions, and I think we will see us next time in your session. Thank you, Purity.
Thank you very much, Isabel. Thank you.